Welcome to the Two Posh Podcast.
I am Gabrielle. I'm a former New York Mafia princess, originally from Austria. I am the mother of 3 and the owner of Two Posh Boutique. And here with my beautiful co-host, Marcella, my daughter.
Hello, I'm Marcella. I'm a dancer, choreographer, model, and designer for Two Posh. And I say whatever the I want.
Hi, my name is Cruz. I am a stylist. I also own the Society Salon in the Design District, and I am a short little Mexican with a big personality.
I am Polly. I am a certified sexual health consultant and educator, former professional dominatrix, currently working at the largest adult novelty store in the Texas Panhandle.
What will they say next? Welcome to the Two Posh Podcast.
Had a worst day at work.
Worst day. Worst. Now I'm thankful for my worst.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So Rock of Love and Flavor of Love, and then I Love New York and Daisy of
Daisy
Love.
of Love.
I was so obsessed with these shows that literally not that long ago, I want to say like during COVID, I think me and one of my best friends rewatched.
Because we did a show on it.
No, but we just watched it for fun, like on YouTube.
I did too. I watched the Daisy of Love.
Oh my God, and I miss those days because it was fun.
So I'll tell you what went bad, unfortunately, on that. So I don't know if you guys remember, there was a girl that was on Rock of Love named Megan.
Yes, and the guy. I know.
She had a show, Megan Wants a Millionaire. And that, what transpired because of that changed all of those shows, unfortunately.
Because of that?
What happened?
Because of that.
A contestant on there, one of the guys ended up murdering his girlfriend.
Oh, yes.
Well, kind of. So
right?
I heard about
Here's what went down. And it's really unfortunate because none of it was related to the show in any way.
I know.
But what happened was he was a contestant on the show. He was eliminated. 2 weeks later, on his own, in his real life, he went to a strip club in Las Vegas, fell in love with a stripper. They ended up getting married. And then like 2 or 3 months after that, her body was discovered, cut up into pieces in a piece of luggage in the back of an apartment complex in Orange County, California.
Oh my
God.
God.
And because he was on the show, again, didn't meet her on the show, had nothing to do with the show at all. But because he was on it, it became a whole thing, and it really changed that genre and that period of time with VH1 dating shows.
Remember Tool Academy?
Oh my God.
Yes, I do.
That was a good one too.
I think I used
those
to call
MTV. They had some
that was
good
the best.
shows.
Scott, bring
MTV
those back.
VH1, man, they had a moment where they really. I mean, Flavor of Love was like rating as high as like network primetime shows were at that period. And then like the next iteration of that, I would say probably was like Jersey Shore, when that blew up and became so insane that they were getting bigger numbers than network primetime shows were. It was like it literally changed television.
Yeah.
So crazy.
So what's new? What's coming? What are you excited about? Or what do you see? Is there changes happening, or what is going on now?
Well,
that you can say.
This could get really heavy. I'll say this, the business in terms of streamers now coming to the table has really changed things a lot too. It has changed the way all of these things are done, but I don't know how much you guys follow the business side of things, but Netflix had at the beginning of this year low performing numbers, which really hit their stock badly. And they became ultra conservative in terms of buying new things. Yep. So they're in a bit of a different place, but then that created a ripple effect in the marketplace where a lot of people started getting to be a little bit more conservative, because streaming is still so new. If you really think about it in the grand scheme of entertainment, right? Everyone's trying to figure out like, what is this? How does it work? How can we monetize it? So I think, you're going to see kind of the same things that have been done before, except it's all about louder. It's all about bigger. It's all about more and crazier. If the two of y'all traveled the country doing your dating and social experiments, and went to the smallest redneck everybody's focus. Everybody wants to y'all came off the bus. 90 Day Fiance in a town that has 6 women that live in it, like 7,000 men. Now we have a show, and now that's how she's going to find her husband on the docu side. Shows based on people.
You never know.
It's trying to figure out when we like, take the show to Appalachia.
I bet you can find someone funny.
Fascinated. Working with the Kardashians. Oh, they have show on HULU Show working the coal They're hilarious.
I feel like they'd be really grumpy.
So now everyone's trying to figure out, okay, what can we do that's similar?
A regular guy living in Dallas could be really grumpy.
They are.
They don't get it.
The last person I talked to was so depressed all the time. I was like, oh. Get it together.
My wife can't get enough.
You're gonna be in good hands.
To tell us your
I'm like on and off of it. I'm like,
statistics. You want
yeah,
like
no, it's about Scott.
Not about
Yeah.
Listen, I'm ready for ideas. More interesting than I am. That's the info.
No. Scott, tell us, how hard is your job? Like, how hard do you have to work to actually, like, how many weeks, months go in before you
that's
find the right person or something really takes off? I mean, it has to be so stressful.
Great question. Yeah. And I mean, I'll just be honest with you. You know, people always say like, man, you have the coolest job. It must be so fun. The fact of the matter is it is a job. It's not some glamorous, luxurious thing where I just hang out all day and get paid to do it. It is not that at all. And frankly speaking, it is a ton of pressure. There's a lot of money that goes into trying to make things work. And oftentimes, quite frankly, they don't. I would say the odds of selling something is probably 1 out of 100.
You told me that when I first met you.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, there's so many different people trying to do it. So it makes it more challenging. There are more outlets than ever before, which is great. But yeah, it's a ton of work. I mean, usually I would say it's probably a 4 to 5 month process of just gaining the materials together that you then take to the networks to try and sell it. And that takes a long period of time as well to just get that done. So it is no easy task by any means at all.
So what you're saying is you are actually working 4 to 5 months on a project that you then try to sell. And when it doesn't happen, it's like gone. Like what happened with us.
And you're working on like 6 to 7 of those types of things at the same time.
Wow.
Because it's a numbers game.
So you don't just cast, you actually do like production and stuff.
Yeah, so I develop shows and actually come up with the ideas. So I find people we build shows around, or I come up with like competition shows, or I come up with, I read different news stories and I think that could make a great documentary, and I help develop that out that we take out to market. So I do that. And then, yes, I do cast. So like there's, it's a bit of a mixed bag, because really when you watch these shows, it's all about the people.
Right.
It's all about their stories. It's all about what's going on in their lives that you determine whether or not you want to tune in for. So the casting of the show and developing it really kind of do go hand in hand, because you don't have a show if you don't have great people.
Gosh, I feel like you have to know so much about people, their person, like almost like a therapist.
Yeah.
Legit. 100%. Like I feel like I'm like an FBI profile.
That's what I mean.
He was reading you good.
And I'm going to keep it real. I do the same shit in real life, by the way.
I bet.
Like, my brother was just in a relationship with this girl that was absolutely fucking horrible. And I knew she was horrible day one. And I told him, dude, this ain't right. And guess what happened? He called the wedding off a week before the engagement.
Oh, shit. They were engaged.
I told you this 5 years ago.
Oh, no, 5 years. Is your brother like, I'm going to listen to you from now on?
He still won't listen to me.
No.
I'll keep trying. Keep trying.
I have a question. So, is this something that you feel that you have, or is this something that you feel that you've just built, just kind of casting people throughout your whole life?
That's a good question.
I think you have the same skills I do. You want to know why? As a hairstylist, you sit and talk to people all day, every day. True. Right?
Yeah.
And you get a good sense of, is this person going to be a pain in the ass client? Are they going to be a good client? Are we going to be friends and actually hang out outside of work? Or am I just going to lie to her the whole time and tell her she's great, even though I hate her? In the first 5 minutes of probably talking to somebody. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing.
Wow. Do people ever thank you when you actually get them something special?
Yeah.
Are they thankful?
Hate me and curse me afterwards.
No.
I'm dead serious. Serious. Because a lot of people look at this as like fun, right? But the fact of the matter is, when you're on a show, look, Marcel, you can speak to this. When you're on a show, it's work. It is a job.
And it's mentally draining.
And here's the biggest problem of it, to be honest with you, is sadly, there are a lot of people out there who hate their lives. And they have nothing better to do than go online and absolutely tear other people apart. And it's really an unfortunate part of being on television, is you're putting yourself out there for that to potentially happen. And it's unfortunate because it's not fair and it's not deserving. And more often than not, it's complete misconceptions that people have, and they're just being mean for the sake of being mean. But once that stuff starts kicking in, that's when I get the texts or the phone calls of like, I fucking hate you. I wish I never would have done this. I blame you for all these things. And it is what it is.
You should start giving them like a a warning, by the way.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? I warn everybody the first day of film.
Oh, you're
Okay?
like,
I say to them, do me a favor, never go on the Facebook pages.
No.
Never go into the forums. Never Google yourself. Like, don't do any of that because nothing but bad will come of you doing that.
Yeah.
Because the problem is people, and I hate to say this, but it's a fact, they never want to focus on the nice things that anybody's saying about them. It's only the bad things that they're saying. And then what happens? You care about what Susie Joe in Oklahoma said about you, and you go in your closet and you cry about some random girl that you've never met in your life, and the fact that she said your extensions look ratty. That's what your life ends up becoming.
I actually got that. Oh, I know she did. Not now, Chris.
Oh,
I
no.
I was on the show. It's actually really funny.
That is true.
It's real life. But
It
like,
is.
and think about this though, right? Like if you're a legit superstar, think about the amount of people saying horrible things about you when you're on that level that you're global.
The Kardashians.
We talk about this sometimes. That
Kardashians, Taylor Swift, any
Yeah.
of those people, like, and like, look, you're signing up for it. It is part of what comes with all the other amazing stuff that your life becomes. It comes with some really mean, nasty, terrible people saying really bad things about you.
Yeah, I think I can't even imagine on that level because you see it a little bit like on our TikTok or on Instagram, you get it a little. So I'm always like, gosh, it doesn't bother me. I actually laugh. I think the best thing to do, what is it? Jimmy Kimmel did people reading their
the mean tweets?
Oh my God.
Yes.
That's the best. So I did that once on TikTok, and it's funny because when you actually kill them with kindness back, it's interesting. You're like, well, I hope that you have a blessed day. I'm glad you feel that way. They're like, well, I was just saying. It's just funny because if you react different.
And the thing is, like, most of the time they're doing it because they hope that you say something, right? They want to get your attention.
Yeah.
So even if you give it to them in a nice way, that's what they wanted, really, is to feel like they were important or as important as you are in their thoughts.
Yeah.
But you've got to have thick skin. Like, look, it is no joke doing this and being a part of this and putting your story out there. I will say, like, in my opinion, there's nothing else like it in the world. If you're a family and you're being given a chance to shoot something as a family, like, it brings you together in an incredible way because you're forced to hang out more, right?
Yeah.
Where some families don't do activities all that often, or when you're with your group of friends and you get to experience something that is just so completely different than real life. I think there's awesome upsides, but there is a reality that comes within it. And you're right. Everyone does need to be prepared for both sides of the equation.
Yeah.
What is the most rewarding thing you have ever done?
Jesus Christ. Mostly not rewarding. No, I worked on a show called Beauty and the Geek for a couple of years. That was on the CW.
I love all these shows you're saying.
Awesome show, where we put together a bunch of really cute girls with a bunch of really geeky guys, and they got put on teams and had to work together. And what was great about that show is, like, each of those parties went in with very preconceived thoughts of each other, right? The guys thought the girls were vapid and mean and unintelligent, and the girls thought the guys were total losers and had no social skills and all these things. And once they went on the show together and they became friends, they genuinely changed as human beings. And they learned and recognized, like, we're not accurate in our assumptions of the other side. And what was really great is they would become legit friends, where when I would be on the road the next year and go hang out with them at a club, like, the beauties would have the geeks hanging out at the table with them. And mind you, like, the geeks would still be like quiet and in the corner, but like their girls and them were like real legit best friends because they bonded over this experience and learned, like, judging a book by its cover is not the most accurate thing. And you got to see real transformation in people. And that was pretty amazing, to be honest with you.
Wow, that's so
That is
cool. Because that really happened.
Mm-hmm.
What was the worst?
The worst thing? Oh, God. I mean, look, we got to see a girl take a shit on national television on Flavour of Love in her dress. Let's be honest.
What? Wait, I don't remember this.
What happened?
You guys don't remember?
No, what?
I don't remember that either.
She pooped in her dress? On Flavour Flav?
So on Flavour of Love, they did the clock ceremony instead of the ring ceremony.
Right.
And she had to go to the bathroom and, like, couldn't hold it anymore. And she was wearing, like, a long gown. And, like, she started walking up the stairs. And then at the very end of the episode, you saw what happened.
I don't remember. How do I not remember? Now I'm gonna
don't remember that either.
put it on YouTube.
This is like a moment of history you guys are missing.
Wow, did I black out? Maybe I was traumatized.
It's very possible. It was trauma.
Where were you at this filming?
I was not there. Not there at all in any way, shape, or form. Thank God. No.
Scott, what is your biggest dream? If your biggest dream could come through, what would that be in your industry?
I guess like the dream for everybody is to work on a project that genuinely and truly has an impact, whether I guess in any which direction. But there are a couple shows here and there in television that actually get to have a positive impact on the world.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of them, but it does happen every once in a while. And I think, being able to come up with something and getting it on air that can do that is a pretty exceptional thing. People don't understand, but like, look, TV's powerful, man. Like it's in everybody's house in the world. And whether you want to admit it or not, you watch it in some way, shape, or form. And I will say, like, there is a fulfillment that comes with knowing you're making something that many people have access to and see, and in some instances become fans of. It's humbling beyond belief, to be honest with you. So I guess, to be honest with you, like and this is going to sound so lame, but it's true. Like, getting things on television is a dream come true every single time because the odds are so stacked against you to get that to happen.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, look at you go, though. You have had so many. That's amazing.
I've been blessed to work on some very cool and fun things for sure. The next thing is Marcella's dating show. That is
yes,
big show we're going to work
huge.
on.
That'll be a good one. Have you seen her stretching?
Yes.
Man.
She is arguably the most limber human being on the face of this planet. I am the absolute opposite. Like,
Same.
I cannot.
Me too.
I have no mobility of any kind.
Same.
When I see what she does, I'm like, what is happening? Like, I feel like she could audition to be an X-Men at some point or a Marvel superhero because she's got some like non-human skills going on.
Elastigirl. That's
yes. On what was it? The Incredibles. The mom?
The mom.
It should be that for Halloween.
Oh my God. Scott, do you have anything else? I want you to have this platform and say anything you want to say. Tell us
did we not
anything
ask
we
you
didn't
anything?
ask you that is important.
I'll just say this. I get asked a lot of time by parents like that have kids that want to be in this industry. What should I or shouldn't do? And I would say, and I'll say the same advice for adults too. Do you want to be famous or do you want to be an actor? Because those are two completely different things. You can act in a local play or in your school's play or in different productions in your area and be fulfilled if your real desire is to act, is to bring stories and characters to life. If your desire is to be on the front page of TMZ and have 3 million followers on Instagram, that is an entirely different thing. And I think it's really important that people realize what is it that they want and then set themselves up for it. Because if you want fame, good luck. The odds are not in your favor. But if you want to act and feel the fulfillment of bringing stories and characters to life, you can do that every day, any day, and feel the fulfillment that you're looking for. And I think it's just really important that both people who want to be in this industry, but children that want, like the parents, it's their responsibility for really creating practical and realistic expectations, because otherwise, your kids are going to be brokenhearted if you pump them up and tell them, oh my God, yes, you're going to be the next Taylor Swift. They're probably not.
That's
That's some
actually
really
true.
good advice.
Yeah, that's really, really
good
great.
advice.
It's a massive, massive difference.
I bet you get that all the time. Like,
I used to travel the country a lot, right? That was the biggest part of the job, is like literally going out and finding the people for these shows. And so with all the dating shows, it was being out at nightclubs all the time. And I would always get girls that would come up to me and they're like, oh my God, my friends and I, we should have our own show. And I'd be like, oh, cool. Like, tell me about your friends. Oh, we're so crazy. I'd be like, tell me the craziest thing you've ever done. And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, you're not that crazy. Like, you're not.
do you know what's
you're really not.
I was going to say, what's funny is I do see this all the time on some people I know, like their stories on Instagram. They're like, we are going to have our own reality show and we're the craziest ones and we do this. And I'm like, I wonder if you just think that you're that.
Everybody gets wasted.
Everyone gets wasted, and everybody has a story to tell for sure. And here's the other thing too, like social media, is awesome, right? And I think it's a great tool in some regards. It lets you connect with people, lets you establish rapport with friends that maybe moved across the country. There's lots of great benefits from it. Simultaneously, it makes people think they're a lot more special than they are. And I will say there is a massive difference between building a following online and being on television. It is not the same. It really isn't. Like vloggers who sit in their room and record for 17 hours and then cut it into 2 minutes and every single word is spliced together because they can't put together a cognitive sentence. That's not good for TV.
No. You know what's funny is that you say that, because I think a lot of people feel like YouTubers or TikTokers or people that they're actually famous, but it's interesting coming from you that you say it's not the same as actually being on TV.
So, I mean, look, and some people are, like, some people become famous, right? Like you got the D'Amelio family, right? Like they are now legit famous. They have their own show on Hulu and they're on Dancing with the Stars and they've made it to that level. But I think, you've got to have something special. It can't just be that you take really hot pictures in the mirror, because I'll tell you something. I've worked on several projects that we've tried to build around influencers. And the unfortunate reality is, like, most influencers stay at home and take pictures of themselves.
Yeah.
That is not exciting.
No.
There's nothing exciting about that.
No.
And more often than not, I'll make the argument of, and I hate to say this and people will hate me, but whatever, it's fine. If you just take pictures, it's probably because you don't have a personality.
I was just going to say that, but I'll let you say it.
Like, look, there are some really hot people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a difference of actors and models.
Yeah.
Those are very different people because they do very different things.
Yeah.
And sometimes one can become the other, but more often than not, they don't.
I agree with you.
Personality is so important.
It's huge. And in reality shows, it's everything.
Yeah.
Like, think about the characters that really stand out in your mind. It's because they had crazy, amazing personalities that either reminded you of yourself and so you identify with them, or they remind you of a friend of yours, or that you hate them. It works in a couple of different ways. There's a couple of different things that and how it functions. But at the end of the day, you're drawn to them for some reason. Mm-hmm. It's the personality.
Yeah.
And, that's, you can't get away from that. If you don't have one, you are not going to be on television. Like, it ain't.
You can't learn it either. It's either you have it or you don't.
And it can get better and it can get stronger because, there's a certain amount of getting used to being in front of a camera that it's a little uncomfortable at first. And then that skill kind of grows and that comfort level grows. But you have to have something to start with. You cannot start with nothing and then think it's going to grow into something. Like, that is almost impossible.
Right.
And you're right. Some people are born with it. Those kids when you grew up that were like dead center of every picture and loved like Marcella when she grew up and every picture and had her hands out. She was built for it. Like, she's got that way about her, but not every kid is that way.
Mm-mm. No, and what's crazy is when I feel like when I did Dancing Queen with Justin, I feel like I learned a lot from him because he, my gosh, talk about somebody who knows how to work reality TV and the camera. I was amazed actually by just his quality of kind of even directing, being like, say this, like you need to say that, like walk out of the room and say that. It's a GIF. You have to be a GIF. And you're like, what? I don't even know what that means.
It's a gift. It is. I mean, being able to put together the right words in the right way, it is a gift. But it also, like, look, it speaks to a level of intelligence too, right? Yeah. Being able to put that together on the fly in that moment when you're thinking about certain things. Mm-hmm. I'll kind of say something that people don't think about all the time. But when you watch these shows, those interviews, when they're by themselves and they're kind of telling their thoughts or reactions to moments, those are really the driving force of these shows. And the best people for these types of things are the people that are really strong in those interviews, who really have a point of view, who can really speak their mind and don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. Those are the people that usually rise to the occasion and really become the it people of whatever show they're on, because that is like an actual skill that not everybody has, quite frankly.
Right. Right. It's true.
You gotta be quick with it.
Yeah. Quick-witted.
Hey, Scott, can we do a couple of segments with you real quick? It's just
whatever
a
you
little
want.
thing.
All right. Whatever
Let's
we want.
do the question of the day real quick.
The two posh girls ask the question of the day.
We need to change.
I know.
All right. Question of the day. This one's a little, all right, let me see. What do you think of wives who don't work and get an allowance from their husbands?
Oh, what do I think about it?
What do you think about that situation?
Scott, go first.
Well, living in Los Angeles, that is a real thing. I'll say this. I've always had a very different opinion than most people when it comes to these situations, because I feel like in those relationships, both people are getting what they want, right? More often than not, it's probably a really attractive girl. The guy might not be as attractive, and therefore he's getting this beautiful girl that he may not have gotten any other.
Trophy wife.
And the girl may be being given an opportunity of a lifestyle that she wouldn't have gotten any other way. So as long as you're both on the same page and realistic about what is transpiring, I don't see any harm or foul, as long as everyone's being honest with each other. Mm-hmm. If someone's living that life and then they're living a life on the side, that's not cool or fair, obviously, then, because then you're kind of double dipping a little bit. But listen, if a girl wants to live a life where she has to go ask for an allowance, that's on her. I personally feel she'd be better off having a job and feeling that fulfillment of knowing she's accomplishing goals and dreams and earning an income. But that's not what everybody wants to do.
Do you see people dipping around?
Double dipping?
Double dipping.
Do you want to talk about Adam Levine this week or what?
Oh, Adam Levine, I know.
Oh, man.
Sumner? She's hot.
Wait, man.
He must have really liked her by wanting to name his kid after her.
Dude, I can't even get into that. I don't even know what to say to that.
Okay, but you guys, some of the TikToks that people have come up with from this.
Did you see the guy singing?
Yes!
The guy singing the texts is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
By the way, he has a really legit voice. Oh my God, he has an amazing voice. I sent it to you. But then there's a comedian who is pretending to hold a baby. And he's pretending to be Adam. And she's like, oh, what do you want to name it? He goes, he's looking. He goes, Sumner. She goes, what? He goes, Summer? He goes, no, Sumner. She goes, what the fuck is that name? He goes, oh, it just came to me. As if that's a normal name.
Can you imagine, though, had none of this come out, right? None of it ever.
I know.
And he has to think in the back of his mind forever.
Ever.
Yes.
Every time he says his child's name,
he's going to think of her.
Person. I don't even know what to say.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Like, why would you do that? Like, he must have really liked her.
I don't know. And then there's people who are like, I just wanted to check if Adam Levine showed up in my DMs. He didn't, but I just wanted to check anyway. It's so funny. That's very funny.
Listen.
99.9 of the chicks that he would approach would say, yes, I will do whatever you want.
Oh.
And I would argue probably 99.9% of the guys, if he did that too, would as well. In that community. It's not that way. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there are a lot of gay men that would do whatever for him too.
For sure. I believe it. You know what show I've been liking right now is Too Hot to Handle.
Oh, yeah. I love
Great
Francesca.
show.
She's so hot.
Oh, she has no personality.
I don't know who she is. I just think she's hot.
She's hot, but no personality whatsoever.
I follow her on OnlyFans.
Oh, Cruz.
Hold on. So wait, now I'll give a little. The show that it revolves around that industry.
OnlyFans.
Oh. I just got into it.
Because I'll tell you something. I think it's very different than most people think it is. I think there is a massive misconception about what OnlyFans is. I think people think of it as porn, and it genuinely, I mean, look, some people use it in that regard, sure. But there are people who do cooking segments, and there are people that teach you how to do boxing. And like, there's every kind of genre of everything you can imagine. And if you're a fan of that person and want to interact with them, you get to pay to have that moment. And that's the difference of the functionality. But
that's what it was supposed to be, right?
That's what it is on a bigger scale. Strip away the minority that does it for that purpose of the glamorization. But most people are doing the same stuff that's on Instagram. They're just getting paid for it. And like, these girls are getting paid crazy money.
Yeah, like how crazy? Tell me.
Millions.
Well, those girls are making $30 million a year.
How much?
30 million.
To do what?
To just be there, take photos, and then the big money they make is from actual interaction. So you can pay, if you're a fan, to direct message them, and they will actually respond. So different from Instagram, right? If there's someone that you follow and you message them, they may never ever respond, period. But you can pay, and because you pay, they have to respond and interact with you. And that gives these fans a level of interaction with the people that they follow that's different than any other platform.
But different than porn and different from nude photos? Like is that what you're saying?
There's podcasts on there. There's comedians on there. There's everything.
So you said
everything.
So you said that the and I'm just gonna say this for a lack of a better word, the porn on the OnlyFans is minimal. I think that's what's most of it, because they were trying to take it out and they're going to lose so much money that they just said, fuck it, we're just going to keep it and let it just do
that
it.
Was all,
What's interesting though is like,
thing.
It's really the majority of the people who quote unquote get put in the category of porn are really doing photo shoots in the same way that FHM and Maxim and Victoria's Secret did. More often than not, they're not showing everything. They're showing stuff.
I have a best friend who makes 7 figures, and I've seen her whole thing, and she is implied.
She's implied? What is that? So
Like,
she's showing up to an extent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what most people do.
Because she said that on Instagram, she said now, because, social media, they don't really do much for their influencers. So she's saying it kind of gives the influencers a chance to take control of
100%.
their money, and it is all in the communication, because you can pay to
that's why they're all kind of starting their own, like, now you can pay to have these subscriptions.
Well, yeah, because if you go on Instagram and your DMs, like, you have to take so much time to answer people. So now if you have OnlyFans, you can say, like, come here, and then you have to tip to chat, basically.
Well, I think what you just said is actually the biggest part of it, right? And that's the taking the power back.
Yeah.
Because especially if you're a young female, right? For such a long period of time, Hugh Hefner and people like him controlled businesses, literally, that they monopolized these women, took advantage of them, made tons of money, and the girls didn't make much of anything, quite frankly.
Right.
And OnlyFans provides these ladies an opportunity to own themselves, their image, what they're willing to do, what they're not willing to do outright, and take the power back. And that's very much a part of kind of what that project is that Sumner's a part of. Is there's a young lady who owns a talent agency that kind of helps people in this space, and she's a 25-year-old girl who is doing really well, but really watches out for her clients, because she's just the same age as they are. And they're trying to say, like, look, we're not letting these old dudes tell us what we can make, what we can do, what we can't do. We're going to determine that on our own and keep all the money for ourselves. And
yeah.
I mean, I think it's radical. Honestly, it's pretty amazing. It's empowering. And yes, it can be all the other negative things, but I think everything on this planet can be both good and bad.
I agree. 100%.
I mean, if I was attractive enough, I would freaking love to make
Scott, you can sell your feet, I'm sure.
Oh, let's not do that. That's a whole other world. Let's not do that.
Oh my God, Scott. I
do
cannot
Party
thank
with
you
Oh.
enough for taking the time to come on our show and talk to us. And it was such a pleasure. It reminds me of all the times we spent before. It's just so much fun.
It's
I
my
was
pleasure.
so
I appreciate you
excited.
having me.
Yes, thank you very, very much. And have a wonderful day. And tell Adrienne hi and tell her she needs another purse.
I will. Marcella, when you're really ready to settle down, let me know. We'll find you a guy.
Okay.
But in the meantime, we're going to have that contest.
You should totally do that dating show, by the way. 100 million.
We've been
gonna-
posting about it. We just have to do it.
You've got to do it.
It'll be fun. Thank you.
I can't wait to see the differences. I'll watch.
Oh, good. Perfect. It'll be very interesting.
I'm going to text you when she's ready.
Let's do it.
Thank you,
It was
Scott.
great to see y'all. Have a great remainder of the day.
Good to see you.
Thanks, Scott. Bye.
Bye.